The answers to life's greatest challenges are stored in the questions that we ask ourselves. I'm going to be sharing with you insights from this book, The Little Book of Affirmations by Noah St. John. So the questions that we ask ourselves are so critical, because if we don't ask the right questions, then we don't get the right answers. So I'm going to share with you 3 principles that are going to help you to solve your biggest problems right now. So you're going to want to take notes because this is so valuable. So understand this, that if you don't know what you want, just like if you don't know what your destination is, if let's say you're taking a trip to someplace new that you haven't traveled to before, even if it's only within an hour or two, you need a map. You need to have a clear description of that destination. You need to know where you're going. You need to have a roadmap to get there. So you need to know what you want. So let's say, for example, you want to go to the lake. You have the Great Lakes around you and you want to go to the lake. Well, then you need to know where you're going and why you're going and what you want to experience there. So you're going to look for the kinds of circumstances that are going to give you that feeling that you're looking for. And I just had that recently. I went to a lake and it was shallow and calm and sandy, and that's perfect. You may want something different. You may want something that you can dive off of, or you may want some rapids or some big waves, but you need to know what you want. So it starts off with principle number 1, knowing what you want. And you have to look at the big aspects of your life, the big rocks. So if you think about the big rocks, what are they? They're your finances, because that's going to fuel everything. And then it's going to be likely your relationships with your family or your friends. That's number 2. And then you're also going to want to make sure that your health and your well-being is looked after, so that you're eating the right food, getting the right amount of sleep, and doing a fair amount of exercise so that you stay fit and strong. So these are the things that you need to think about, what you want and what they look like, because what's going to happen is you're going to create a self-image, and that self-image is what's going to be your perception of yourself and the world. And if that isn't solidified, then you're not going to be able to accomplish the things you want. You won't get to your destination. So you need to have a clear definition and clear description of your destination, what that looks like, what that feels like, and why you want it. If you don't know why you want it, you're not into your heart. And I have a model that talks about the head, or heart, head, and hands. And so you need to start off with your heart. What's your motivation? And then at the other point of this triangle, you're going to have what is your motivation? What's your mindset? So you have your motivation at the tip, then you have your mindset, and then over here you have method. So you need to have a method in order to accomplish what you are looking to achieve. So your motivation, your mindset, and your method, and you combine those things, and you take consistent effort and take consistent steps, and then you'll start moving towards your destination. It doesn't just happen naturally. It doesn't happen easily. You need to think about it and focus on it. And as Napoleon Hill said in Think and Grow Rich, you need to have dominant thoughts towards the thing you want. Because ultimately, you're going to change your self-image, which is going to change your beliefs. And you need to have strong beliefs about what you want. So you need to do the work. You need to have the competence so that you have the courage and the confidence to keep going. So that's principle number 1, is knowing what you want. And then the second principle is to ask yourself effective questions. So you need to ask yourself effective questions. Why? Because we know through brain science and psychology, we have something called the reticular activating system. It's the RAS. And the RAS answers all of your problems. It solves all of your problems. You don't maybe notice it, but if you have a flat tire, you might say to yourself, how can I fix this easier? How can I get this solved? Or, and you start asking questions, and next thing you know, you're calling somebody, or you're figuring out how to fix it, or somebody stops and helps you. So asking those questions solves the problem. So you need to ask really effective questions. And what you want to do, based on what Noah St. John said in this book, is ask why questions. Why questions are the most powerful. How questions actually can cause problems, because if you ask a how question, then you get stuck in how to accomplish it. You can ask who, not how. And there's a great book by Dan Sullivan and Benjamin Hardy that talks about that. So you ask who questions: who's done this before? Who can I mimic? Who can I follow? And then you can use them to get what you want to help solve your problem. But what you want to do is ask why questions, according to Noah St. John and his research, because if you ask a why question, then it's going to move you in the direction of what you want. And it's not going to, there's no self-doubt, no worry, no nothing in the way. So if you ask a why question about finances, and you might say, why am I receiving all the money I need right now? Why am I getting new clients and new business right now? Why is everything working out for me right now? If you start asking questions like that, that part of your mind, the reticular activating system, is going to do its work. It's going to get to work, and it's going to start solving that issue. It's going to fill in the gap, if you will. There's a gap there between what you're asking and what's going on in your world and your reality. And it's a struggle, right? It's a conflict. You're creating an internal conflict inside of your mind so that it has to solve this problem, and then it's going to cause you to take the actions to achieve it. It's just like meeting your first mate, your partner, your husband or your wife or your girlfriend or boyfriend. Whatever you wanted, you thought about them. You thought a lot about somebody. You met somebody and you thought a lot about them, and you thought about being with them, and you even thought about having children with them potentially. And so all these things start to come about, and you're creating images in your mind. You're creating a perception, and you're creating a desire. And that's another critical factor. Napoleon Hill talked about desire as well, and desire is the catalyst, and it gets you started. So you need to have a desire. So you figure out what you want, and then you start asking questions for it, and then you create an internal desire. It's not only external. It's not just you looking around saying, I like these things, I want this certain type of lifestyle. But what you end up doing is you end up getting your mind working with you, and it's like, hey, we like these things, we like these experiences. And then through confirmation bias, which is, you basically get confirmation of the thing you've been thinking about, just like shopping for a car. You start seeing cars of the same kind. If you wanted a Tesla, let's say, for example, and you start driving around, and then you see Teslas everywhere. It happens to me all the time, every time I go to get a new car. So if you start using your mind to get things going for you and working for you, then it's going to attract it. Instead of just trying to push hard and push forward and make things happen and grind. That you can affirm, that's an affirmation. You can say what you want and just keep pushing and pushing and pushing, or you can use an affirmation, which is different. It's forming what you want. So an affirmation, according to Noah St. John, is you're attracting the thing towards you. You're specifying what you want, and it's magnetizing it, pulling you towards it. So it's different. It's like pursuing versus ensuing. Something that draws you forward is ensuing, and if you're pursuing something, you know what happens when you pursue somebody? You get called a stalker or something, and it doesn't work out well. But if you let it draw you forward, let it pull you forward, then it's ensuing. It's drawing you forward and causing things to come to you instead of you forcing things. So that was principle number 2, is about asking effective questions, and make sure they're why questions. And you can ask any kind of questions that solves any of your problems. You start off by writing down what's not working for you, and then you might even have questions that you have in your mind. Why me? Why am I good enough? Or why is this right for me now? Or why isn't it right for me now? Or why is this so hard? You have to flip those questions around and say, why is this so easy? Why is this right for me now? And why are things working out for me now? And why is money coming to me now? And why is my life getting better and better all the time now? Just ask a lot of why questions, and you can write them down in your journal, or you can think about them and say them. You can meditate on them. But the key here is to keep asking those questions, and as you see the results, the evidence of it, and that's principle number 3. You need to look for evidence. You need to look for the thing that you want. If you're not looking for evidence, you're not going to get it. If somebody was murdered and the investigator came in and said, nothing to see here, pretty clear, that's not that's not how we operate. We investigate it. We find out what happened. And so you have to look for evidence for what you want. So you have to investigate and look for what you want. See what's being reflected back to you. And then you can take further actions, because ultimately you're going to change your self-image. You need to have a change in self-image, because if you don't, then your perception of yourself and the world doesn't change, and it doesn't stick. It doesn't last. So you need to work on the deeper levels of yourself, which is your self-image. And once you have your self-image working for you, then you can't be stopped. But you need to work on that, because otherwise habits, as I've mentioned before, they're like an elastic band. Let's say we have an elastic band here and we're stretching it. Unless you break that elastic band, it will snap back into place. Your old habits will pull you back down to where it's comfortable, and you won't move any further. So self-image is a critical factor. That, that's the third principle. You need to focus and work on looking at the evidence, so that the world around you is reflecting back to you what it is that you want, and then your self-image starts to change. Self-image is going to change your beliefs, and once your beliefs have changed, now you will go around and you will ask the questions, or maybe you will think about, who's the type of person that has this kind of lifestyle? Who's the type of person that lives like this? And if you think about casting votes towards the type of person you want to be, like in Atomic Habits, James Clear talks about that. Cast votes for the type of person you want to be. Just take actions and move towards the type of person you want to be. And if you see somebody you like, and you like the way they live and the way they're doing things in this world, then follow them and do what they do, and just start taking little actions that are going to cause you to become the person that you'd like to be. That's all you have to do, is just to take actions, little steps, cast votes towards the person you'd like to be. And that's going to create a stronger self-image, and that way you're going to use your mind to change what's going on in your world, versus you trying to change your behavior and change what's going on in the world around you. You can't change the world around you. Wayne Dyer taught us that, we become what we think about, whether we like it or not. And so we need to know that it's about our thoughts. We become what we think about. And Joseph Murphy taught us that, what we think and feel, we create what we believe. So if we're going to create what we believe, then we better think about what we want first. Otherwise, life is going to happen to us. Professionals have control over the day, and they program their day, and they focus on what they want during their day. And amateurs let life get in the way. So, don't let life get in your way. Think about what you want. Focus on what you want. Move towards it. Ask effective questions. And then you'll see, as you keep stepping forward, you'll change your self-image, you'll change your beliefs, and the world will start reflecting back to you what it is that you thought about and you imagined and what you focused on. Because what you focus on is where your energy is going, and it's going to bring back that same energy. And so you need to keep your attention on what you want and where you're going, and do it consistently, and ask those effective questions. And if you want to ask questions, make sure they're why questions, just like Noah taught us. Make sure they're why questions, and every once in a while you can ask how-to questions, but you might as well look at somebody who has done it before and ask a who question. Who can I follow? And then do what they did, and make it easy on yourself. So again, apply these principles. Use your mind. It's capable of doing so much more. Allow it to do what it's capable of doing, and you'll see, as you do, things will get better and better, and you'll get stronger, and you will have a better life, and you will see that you're moving closer to the destination you want. And then once you arrive there, then you can pick something else that you want and keep building upon that. So this is Dan LeFave. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you on my next video. Bye.